So everybody's talking about the New Hampshire primary results. And I don't think they'll surprise anybody. Donald Trump won the New Hampshire Republican primary. He got 54.3% of the vote and 12 delegates. Nikki Haley was second, got 43.3% of the vote and 9 delegates. And then there were some people who voted for the other candidates, even though they had dropped out of the race by now. And then for the New Hampshire Democratic primary, Biden won, despite being technically a write-in candidate. He got 55.8% of the vote, and Dean Phillips was second with 19.5% of the vote, and a few other candidates as well. Marianne Williamson got 4.6%. Now I want to share a couple TikToks from MSNBC's TikTok account and talk about them.
Check this out. Among Republicans, Donald Trump is beating Nikki Haley by essentially 50 points, 74 to 25. Among independent voters, Haley is beating Trump by 24 points, 61 to 37. That is a swing of 73 points between how Donald Trump is doing with Republicans and how he's doing with independents. So the idea that this is a great result for Haley that gives her new life and everything, the core problem of her candidacy has been appeal within the Republican Party. And she's running at 25%. That core problem has not been addressed at all here in New Hampshire. She's just benefiting from a uniquely, massively high number of non-Republicans. Check this. While there is a lot of negative opinion about Trump, there is about Biden too. And that's a difference between 20 and 24. Biden's the incumbent president. An incumbent president with an approval rating under 40%. If that persists to election, that's another if. Will that persist to election day? Will the economic news get better? Will Biden's numbers improve? They're completely possible. But if it doesn't, and you're an incumbent president walking into election day with an approval rating anything like Joe Biden has right now, does Trump start to look a little different to a crucial, small but crucial sect of voters that could decide the election? While there is a lot of negative opinion about Trump, there is about Biden too. And that's a difference.
So, look, I mean, it's only January. So anyone who, makes sweeping generalizations and election predictions will probably be shot down very quickly. Having said that, I think I'm going to do just that. I mean, look, man, as I've been saying in many of my videos here, on this channel, I mean, I think Donald Trump's going to get the Republican nomination. Biden's going to get the Democratic nomination unless, something happens, unless one or the other or both pass away, or unless Trump's name gets taken off the ballot, or he's in prison or something. I mean, there's contingencies here. It's not guaranteed, but I think that's the most likely outcome. Everyone agrees about that. Now, what I think people don't agree about, and again, maybe I'm just the ignorant one here. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand statistical models enough in regards to politics, but I think Trump's power in the Republican Party is waning. I think it's waning, and I think these numbers show it. I mean, again, no one's going to say that because it sounds crazy, right? I understand it sounds crazy because, he blew Nikki Haley out of the water among Republicans. But given that Nikki Haley blew him out of the water in regards to independents, and I know the New Hampshire Republican primary allows independents to vote in, and I don't know if that's true in other states. But given she blew Trump out of the water with the independents, I think that gives you a sense that, plenty of people who might consider themselves like conservative in one degree or another don't like Trump and don't support Trump. And not every Republican is a hardcore MAGA fanatic. I know I've said the Republican Party is Trump cold, and it is, but I think there are some trends off and away from that among the voting. And because, like, even in Iowa, well, first off, 43.3 and 54.3%, that's not a huge difference. That is basically close to 50-50. So I think that tells you something about the state of the Republican Party. But even in regards to Iowa, where obviously Trump beat every other candidate, hands down and then some, he still only got 51% of the vote, which again shows, like, okay, that's about 50-50. That's about, half of Republican voters voting Trump, the other half voting other ways. Now, I think someone's going to say, well, you brought up the reason for the New Hampshire bit already, which was independence. That's why it's closer to 50-50. Which is true. But I think that's a rumbling of something to come, if that makes sense. So I think there's a growing split in the Republican Party. And again, saw that with Iowa, but I even think you see it with New Hampshire, because there are independents that lean conservative or lean Republican. There's plenty of them, and they just don't happen to be registered that way. So again, I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I think Trump's election chances, whatever the polls say, and many polls, as you will hear, say, no, I actually think Trump is in the lead. Whatever the polls say, even if we claim that, both of these primaries prove that Trump's been strong, is stronger than he's ever been before. I don't think that's true, but let's just assume that for the sake of argument. I don't think he's gonna win, and I don't think he's got a snowball's chance in hell. To be honest with you, yes, Biden, is unpopular. He has a low approval rating. Yes, he's tacitly supporting genocide. Not tacitly, he's explicitly supporting genocide in Gaza. He's not a good candidate. No, the average American doesn't want either of these candidates. But I'm going to go ahead and say it in January of 2024. Mark my words. I think, unless one of the contingencies plays out, that Donald Trump will lose the general election and Joe Biden will squeak by, as he's been doing for a long time.